Welcome back to JBSports. I'm your host, Jonathan Burton, and today we're going to get into some NFL stuff. Mostly, the Commanders act like this is a number 5 or 17, not a Jahan Dotson jersey, because he is no longer here. Unfortunately, he's on the Eagles, hasn't done much really, so I don't know, but I haven't really been paying attention too much to him anymore because when he was on the Commanders, I paid attention, but he just dropped the football so many times, so it is what it is. Also, I'm 10 subscribers away from 100. So if you're not subscribed, please do. I would really appreciate it. But we shall get into things. NFL news. Mostly, we're just going to go into a few things. Some things I just thought were crazy. Jaguars. Doug Peterson, the coach, he's on the hot seat. They're not doing good at all. Just lost the Bills 47-10. And one person you got to keep up with right now, stat wise, I'm not saying I'm going off stats right now. You have Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones and Trevor Lawrence. Statistically, this is how I'm comparing them. So we're gonna say two players. They're basically the same. So Daniel Jones has a 64% completion percentage, 51.67 career QBR, 66 touchdowns, 42 interceptions. And a lot of people say, oh, he's like one of the worst quarterbacks ever. And then Trevor Lawrence, 63% completion percentage, 84 career passer rating, 50.25 career QBR, 60 touchdowns, and 40 interceptions. And a lot of people will say like that he's like good. He's got, potential. But if you look at the stats, you're seeing Trevor Lawrence, he's getting paid a lot of money. And people don't really talk about him as much as Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones for the Giants, like, oh, 180 million, like that's crazy for how much he's getting paid. And a lot more people have started talking about Trevor Lawrence, but he has done literally like around the same as Daniel Jones, and he's getting paid like one of the highest in the league. So you're getting the same production out of the two. One is usually put higher on the totem pole than the other, and Daniel Jones is put really far down, but they're doing like the same amount of numbers. So it's just interesting to see how both of them get treated when you look at their numbers at the same side. So next, I also want to talk about the Vikings. The Vikings have been going crazy. Like I said last episode, Sam Darnold has found his home. It looks like in Minnesota, they just beat the Texans 34-7, which is really good, especially because CJ Stroud had a rough game against the defense of the Vikings. And Sam Darnold has just been winning and winning and winning. Like Sam Darnold is killing it this year. So it's really cool to see that for him, but it's just crazy to see how he just found his team and clicked. And you didn't think it was going to happen for him. You thought Sam Darnold was just going to be another bust, a generational bust, but he wasn't. He's proving that not to be true. So, some of the interesting games I do think was the Buccaneers losing to the Broncos. They did pretty bad. Andy Dalton with the Panthers. So, I want some people's opinions on this. I've seen a lot of split ideas. So, what do you guys think? With Andy Dalton coming out and beating the Raiders 36-22, is this showing that it was a Bryce Young problem? Or is it just the Panthers getting lucky and, somehow sneaking a win through Andy Dalton playing like Tom Brady? But I just want to get your opinion. Is it a Bryce Young problem? Or is it the whole organization being bad and they got lucky? Please let me know. To me, I honestly just don't think the team is good. Personally, they traded Brian Burns, one of their best players. Frankie Louvu went to Washington. One of their best players there, Jeremy Chin, also went to Washington. So they've just been letting a lot of their good players go. So I think that contributes to them being so bad. And honestly, I do think the Raiders had a really bad game last week defensively too with that. So personally, I don't think it's really a Bryce Young thing. I just think the Panthers had a good game and they're not really that good. So let me know what you think, but that's what I think. Next, Dolphins, Seahawks. I probably won't go off of all games, but just some of the games I'm thinking of. Seahawks, Dolphins. Dolphins are really struggling without Tua. They were struggling a little bit before with Tua, but really struggling after Tua's gone. I don't think Skylar Thompson is getting the job done. He it's just not gonna. I don't know any other way to say it. The Seahawks are really good. DK Metcalf had that really good touchdown play, really far, really long. I think it was 70 plus. So, and then kind of the last game I want to get into, just real quick. Colts Bears. Both QBs played terrible. Anthony Richardson is one of my QBs on fantasy, so please bounce back this week, please. They're playing the Steelers. I don't know if he can, but I really hope that he can. He's going to get a lot of pressure on him, so I don't know if he will be able to because the Steelers defense have been so good this year. But Caleb Williams also had a very bad game as well. He got his first passing touchdown, I think, of the year. But the whole game was pretty ugly. Caleb, none of the offenses could get anything going. Most of the touchdowns were running back plays, which isn't bad, but Caleb Williams still is looking like he's struggling. And I don't know. He just might be nervous. So I don't know if it's that or if he's really struggling because, in my opinion, I've said this multiple times going into it, he was put in the best position player-wise. Inspection-wise, he wasn't put in the best because with all these players, with all like the aura around him, they're saying, oh, they were contenders, playoff contenders already, which is proving not to be fully true. They can still make it. You never know what's going to change. But inspection wise, he went into it. They want him to make it to the playoffs. Commanders, it's more we just want to find a franchise QB, which we have. Jayden Daniels is looking amazing. And then Broncos, they I guess they're trying to find their franchise, which Bo Nix hasn't done terrible. I mean, he didn't really throw an interception, so that's really good for him. He's been struggling with that. So I also want to know what you guys think. Who's been the best rookie so far? I'd say Jayden Daniels. I could be biased though in the game against the Bengals, which we'll get into. But in your opinion, and say why, who do you think has been the best quarterback to the worst quarterback? And just rank your opinions. Let me know. But I think Jayden Daniels, like I said, I could be biased. He said that's the highest one. And then Bo Nix and Caleb Williams, that's a little harder because Bo Nix has, yes, he's won some games, but he's been throwing a lot of interceptions, and Caleb Williams has been throwing a lot of interceptions too. So I do think Caleb Williams is still kind of doing better. I don't know, but those two are harder to rank for me. But what's your opinion? And then the last game, I know the other one I said was the last game, but this is just a game I fully want to talk about. The Commanders versus the Bengals. The first game in the Super Bowl era where there wasn't a punt. There was always a score. There was not a single punt in the full game. First time in the Super Bowl era. Which, as a Commanders fan, that's amazing because we haven't put up 38 points like that in a while. And our offense was just clicking. I know there's a lot of stuff going around that both teams don't have a good defense. I already know we don't have a good defense. I've talked about it extensively. Our defense did pretty good that game. They let up some scores. Our DB, we had Mike Santrell, our rookie, on Jamar Chase, so that wasn't going to end up perfect. You know, defense, our DBs aren't good. Mike Santrell's on Jamar Chase. You had T. Higgins back, who he started to play good. One of their younger wide receivers had his first really good game. And our linebackers did pretty good. We got a lot of third down stops, and if we can keep that defense going and maybe have our DBs do a little better or sign a veteran defensive back to kind of help it out, because we have a lot of younger guys and we don't have some of the old guys. Oh, CB we signed recently. He's still in the practice squad. I don't think he's going to be pulled up. So I think J.C. Jackson should be given another shot. I think we should sign him. Going more into the game, offensively, we had some heroes. Austin Eckler did amazing, had that one rushing touchdown, had the really far return to set us up right out of the halftime. He, what was it? It's got to be like 60, 70, something like that return. You had Trent Scott, lineman, to catch Jane Daniels' first ever touchdown. That's going to be, like Jane Daniels said, a really good trivia question. Who was Jane Daniels' first touchdown thrown to? Which Jane Daniels kept the game ball. Sorry, Trent Scott. Rookie first touchdown. He's got to keep it. Um, but both QBs had a very good game. And the number one wide receivers had a pretty good game too. Terry McLaurin, 4 receptions, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Jamar Chase, 6 receptions, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, he definitely had the biggest plays for Washington. He had that 50-yarder from Jane Daniels to Terry McLaurin, just close to the touchdown. And of course, you had one on fourth, I believe, or fourth or third. That was very important for us to get. You had the winning touchdown. I'll get more into later. And I think it's just a simple reception, kind of streaking down the field. That was pretty good. But he was going really good. It's us finally getting Terry McLaurin back into the game. I feel like last year we did not utilize him really at all. He had over 1,000 yards, which amazing. I love Terry McLaurin. I love when he does good, but we haven't really got him into the game as much as we should be doing. And now that we got him into it, 4 receptions, 100 yards, 1 touchdown. That's what we need to do. Cliff said, "Let's get him involved." He got involved because there is one Bengals player I need to talk about that was talking some trash. Cam Taylor Britt. That is a man I have to talk about. So, Cam Taylor Britt said about the Commanders, and specifically Jane Daniels, that they gave him a simple, nice college offense to run, and he doesn't have to do anything too difficult. So he was kind of saying, oh, it's easy for him. He's not going to do good against me because, I'm going to have it locked down. Basically what he's implying. And then, fast forward to the game, the 50-plus yarder that Jane Daniels threw to Terry McLaurin was on Taylor Britt on a very easy route Terry McLaurin did. Really, he just went behind his shoulder when Taylor Britt went to turn, just dusted by him, and caught a 50-yarder on him. And just Jane Daniels, I will go into him more. You thought Pat McAfee and their boys were glazing him over there. I'm about to glaze him. Pause. But, running, everything was going great for us today. Brian Robinson didn't get as many yards and touches as last week, but he was totally fine with it. After the game, they had a post-interview with him, and he was fine about it. But Cam Taylor Britt was talking trash, couldn't back it up, just like when Eli Apple in the Super Bowl was talking all that trash and then got toasted by Cooper Kupp for the game-winning touchdown. So, Bengals cornerbacks need to stop talking trash, apparently. But, yes, their defense isn't as good, and a lot of people saying both defenses sucks. I said that earlier this episode, and yes, they do. But still, was a coming out party for the Commanders. Our left tackle, Brandon Coleman, had a very good game against a very good few players. Hendrickson, he was doing really good against these guys. Out smarting them, pushing them down, out strengthening them. He was doing really good, which for a project pick, in my opinion, he's been doing great. So I'm happy that we have a good left tackle that we can bring into the future. Our linemen, our stronger linemen, Brandon Coleman, Nick Allegretti, Andrew Wiley is not, I don't know why I said his name. Sam Cosby is a strong one. So if we can, and Tyler Bialic isn't bad. So if we can kind of make Brandon Coleman, Nick Allegretti, and Sam Cosby our kind of future of our line, and then eventually Wiley can go. Yeah, Tyler Bialic can go. I mean, no, Tyler Bialic, he's okay, so he can stay, but just really Andrew Wiley has not been the best, so we want him to kind of phase out. And on the defense, Jonathan Allen, he has not been doing. Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, for what we've kind of been like paying them, they need to step it up. Like Payne, he had a really good year. We paid him, and then the next year he was terrible, and this year he hasn't done much. I mean, I know it's the beginning of the season, so they got to get into it. But Jonathan Allen, he has not been doing good at all. I do believe we should trade him before the value of him goes down, but we'll see what happens there. Frankie Louvu did amazing. A lot of our guys did pretty good. So one guy that didn't do good, Benjamin St. Juste, he got toasted by Jamar Chase for Jamar Chase's second touchdown. Mike Sandstrom, the first one. Mike Sandstrom still, he's younger, so I'm okay with him. It's not really that good, but I'm okay with him kind of learning. And Jeremy McNichols, love that man for that block he had for Jayden Daniels on the touchdown to Terry McLaurin. There's a play on it. I can't really play it because I don't want to deal with copyright and stuff, but I'll explain it. So that play, we'll go into it now. The touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin, 27-yard, back right of the end zone, got his toe and his knee in. Terry McLaurin, perfect. Basically, we had 10 people in the field, so we didn't have our full people. And Jeremy McNichols, he didn't know what he's doing, so he was trying to ask Daniels what was going on. He couldn't figure it out. So he just goes straight forward, basically lifts the guy up on his legs and just body slams him to the ground for a block. Really good block. That play, Jayden Daniels got completely blasted from that side. I don't remember who it is, but he just went streaking free right into him, just smashed him. And Jayden Daniels still made the throw to Terry. And it was one of like the craziest moments I've ever watched. Like, people don't understand, this is like the most excited I've been as a Commanders fan in a very long time. Like, I just don't even know how to like explain it. There's been some times where I'm like really happy what we're doing, and it's just crazy like how much promise the team has. I'm not expecting us to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not expecting us to go to a long playoff run. I'm just expecting us to get better inch by inch, and that's what we're doing. So, Jayden Daniels, we're going to go over some of the stats. 21 for 23 on passing attempts, 21 completions, 23 attempts, 254 yards, and 2 touchdowns, two passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, which was amazing. And some of the records he broke: Daniels completed 21 of 23 passes for 91.3% completion percentage against the Bengals, breaking the previous record, 88.9% set by Dak Prescott in 2016. That is a rookie record. NFL history: Daniels became the first player in NFL history to complete at least 90% of his passes, throw for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns, and run for a touchdown in a single game. And then Commanders scored on every drive against the Bengals, the first they've done so since Thanksgiving 2020. And then no punts or turnovers for the Commanders and the Bengals, which is a record in the Super Bowl era. But he's just like, Jayden Daniels went crazy. And we haven't punted since the first game. Last game, it was a field goal every drive, I believe. So we have not punted since the first game. So Tressway has been having a fun time just sitting up on the bench, chilling. And just Jayden Daniels is going crazy. It's just amazing to see what he's been doing. To go from the first game, second game, and third game, just seeing the progression of how comfortable he's getting in the pocket. He's starting to learn more. He's not just running to run. He actually slid, which I love. I don't want to see Jayden Daniels get hurt because he got the helmet knocked off twice against the Bucks, which was scary, which would be scary for any football team for their quarterback. So it's really nice to see him doing that. And just, he has a really good completion percentage so far this season. First game, 70.8%, 79.3% the second game, and 91.3% this game. And it's just been crazy, man. He's been doing a lot of running touchdowns, which I like. Passing rating has been really good. And it's just been crazy to see. I just can't like say in words how nice this is to have a quarterback who's really good. We haven't had a quarterback that's really good in a while since like RG3's rookie season, I'd say. Taylor Heineke, he was fun to watch. I don't know if the seasons were amazing, but it was just fun. RG3 had that really good rookie season. And before that, we haven't had too many really good quarterbacks. Alex Smith had a really good year, I will say. So between RG3 and then, he had a really good year. Unfortunately, everybody knows what happened to him. His leg, like, destroyed by JJ Watt. But, like, it's just, I'm going to say it again. It's just amazing to have a quarterback who is going to be really good, who has the potential to be amazing. He's doing the best out of every rookie quarterback. It's just like crazy. And then go into our kicker, 100% from the kicking for this season so far. Of course, Cade York first game, not 100%. He was actually 0%, I believe. I think so. I think he went 0 for 2. And it just feels nice to be a Washington fan right now. Like I said, I'm not expecting us to go to the Super Bowl. Never did. Not expecting us to make playoffs, which is looking better for us now. We are the first in our division, I believe, because we beat the Giants. I know that the Cowboys beat the Giants last night, so I don't know if we're still the top position, but we're 1 or 2 in. It's the beginning of the season, so really I can't really say too much about it. But it's just funny to think that we're number 1 in the division, and it's just nice to see. We've been struggling for so many years. As a Commanders fan, if you are a Commanders fan, you know how bad it's been recently. We've gone through so many scandals, so many bad things. We've gone through 2 name changes, and we've just been looking for a little bit of hope. And Jayden Daniels has been that hope for us. Terry McLaurin has had that hope for us every so often. So now we're really starting to bring it together. Jayden Daniels is starting to look very, very scary on that field. He's juking out people left and right. He's having amazing passing. He's converting on almost every fourth down, most third downs. Of course, the fourth downs they complete, so you don't even, it's whatever. But he's just been scary. His rushing is really good. He makes very smart throws. I think there's only been like 1 or 2 passes where I think it might get picked off. One of them was Zach Ertz ripping it away from a Giants player, and the other one I think he just overthrew it a little bit and it kind of looked bad, but it was fine. So he's just playing smart ball. He is so good. I'm seeing a lot of jokes. I'm not taking this too seriously. It was just funny. It was a Bears fan saying how they've now passed on Patrick Mahomes and Jayden Daniels. Of course, you can't say anything about that yet because it's the first 3 games of the rookie season. Caleb Williams can turn it around. He looked a little better for a little bit of the Colts game, but he threw a lot of interceptions, just like Anthony Richardson did. So he's young. He can turn around. Like I said, after seeing Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold come back from their little situations, Baker had a good year. Sam Darnold had an okay year. But most of their seasons weren't the best. Seeing them able to turn around from their situation, a lot of quarterbacks can do that. Geno Smith turned it around, people like him. So Caleb Williams can turn it around. I'm not saying he's going to be a generational bust. I'm not going to say he's going to be a bust. I'm just saying so far he isn't looking great, but he can turn it around. I'm not saying he can't. It will probably happen eventually. You know, he had Keenan Allen out. His offensive line was terrible, which our offensive line was pretty good against the Bengals, which I'm very happy about that. Keep it up, maybe. I don't know. And just, he hasn't had, I guess, the best situation offensively, offensive line wise. Offensive wide receivers, he has really good wide receivers. Rome Odunze, who got his first career touchdown. Keenan Allen, he's been hurt because he had a heel injury, which I think he'll be back soon. And then, DJ Moore. He had his best season last year with Fields, which Fields was 3-0 in Pittsburgh. Is it a Fields situation or is it a Bears situation? It's a joke. But, it's just anything can change. Bo Nix could start going crazy for all we know. You never know what's going to happen. So we just got to wait for it and see what happens. But of course, so far, I'm going to say Jayden Daniels is the best rookie quarterback and rookie. Malik Neighbors has been going insane, though, and Marvin Harrison has had the last 2 good games. Speaking about Marvin Harrison, we're going to go into the Commanders versus the Cardinals. this is a game where I do think we can win, but there's going to be a lot of problems for the team. It's a problem every week anyway, but the problem is mostly the DBs. You have a rookie, a star already at this point. You have Marvin Harrison Jr., really good, really sneaky, gonna be hard to cover. I don't know who we're gonna put on him. It's probably gonna be St. Juice. St. Juice is not the best. I mean, I kind of thought he could be our one because he started getting way better from last year, but he's back in that island phase where every time he's kind of on someone, he struggles. So I don't know if we're gonna have him go in there. You never know. Maybe they'll put Mike Sancho on there, which Mike Sancho's he's fast. He's better in the nickel spot. So I don't want him like going one on ones. Sometimes you had Percy Butler on a wide receiver specifically, which he didn't do terrible, but I didn't really like it too much. So we're gonna have to worry about that, especially because Arizona has some pretty good wide receivers. They're not the amazing, but they have some good ones. Michael Wilson isn't bad. Trey McBride, I believe their tight ends is going to be out, which will help us a little bit. Don't wish anybody gets injured though. I never want anyone to get injured, but that will help us a little bit. Kyler Murray, he's going to be a struggle for us because we apparently have problems with fast QBs. Half the time we have problems with slow QBs, but fast QBs are going to be a problem for us because our linemen, they're good at getting there, but they get juked out a lot by QBs, our defensive linemen. Like they have been getting juked out a lot. So if we can maybe get some pressure on Kyler Murray, make him move out more, which Kyler Murray is pretty good at throwing the ball on the run. He's very good at getting out of the situations like Jayden Daniels is. So we're going to see a very fun game with quarterbacks getting out of the pocket. But I really want to see some pressure from our defensive line, maybe our linebackers. Frankie Louver has been very good at adding some pressure. He's been very good at, kind of staying in between that wide receiver and quarterback area and knocking passes down, making them incompletions. So that's what one thing I love about Frankie Louvu. But the Commanders, honestly, do what you did last week. It worked. We had very good offensive stuff. Offensive weapons have been great. Our Luke McCaffrey, I love Luke McCaffrey, almost scored his first touchdown again, just got pushed out of bounds. He should be active. Zach Ertz, I don't know if you'd say revenge game, but he's going back to the Cardinals. Hopefully he can do really good against them, come in there, light it on fire. Terry McLaurin, I hope they keep him in the loop because when Terry McLaurin is playing like he did last week, top 10 receiver in the league. I don't care what anyone says. You can argue with a brick wall. Top 10 receiver in the league. And then just keep it going. Honestly, keep the run game in there. Don't forget where the run game came from. Austin Eckler does have a concussion, so I believe he won't be playing this game. But give it to B-Rob. Make him force it through the middle. Push through some people. Also, McNichols, give him some touches. See what he can do. He can do good, I feel. Give him a chance. And just be smart. Jayden Daniels is a very smart quarterback. He is a very good quarterback. He's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the future of this league. I'm saying it now, and I will stand by that. I love Jayden Daniels. He's going to be great for us. He's going to be our franchise quarterback for a very long time. We're finally going to have a part in history where we have a quarterback longer for a year starting. So many years now we've had a quarterback start the year that's different from the last. We haven't had a quarterback, I believe, start 4+ years in a row since Mark Rypien. That's bad. So I think Jayden Daniels will be this franchise guy for us. But we just got to add some pressure, try to stay on the wide receivers for a little bit. I know Marvin Harrison is very good. He will get open sometimes. Just watch the deep ball. Jeremy Chin has been pretty good at knocking the balls out when they go deep. So hopefully he can stay on that and we can win this game. I'm calling it right now. It's going to be a very close game, but I do think the Commanders might be able to squeak it out. I believe so. That's my opinion. I'm not saying this is a fact, but I did say I'm calling it now, but I'm switching back down. You know what? Fine. I'll call it now. Commanders are going to win a close game against the Cardinals. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have fun watching football this weekend. I get to commentate a game at my college on radio, so that's going to be fun. But have a great weekend. Watch some football and spend time with the family. Bye.